Namaskar. Welcome to the special debate on the Division of Andhra Pradesh and the challenges and opportunities that go with it. The new state of Telangana emerges as the 29th state of the Union of India. To give you a brief background, it was in 1953 that the state of Andhra, comprising of the coastal and Rayalaseema districts, was carved out of the then Madras state. It was later in 1956 that the Telangana region of the then Hyderabad state and the state of Andhra were merged to form the state of Andhra Pradesh. Another important feature of this demographic reorganization is that after Hindi, it is only perhaps the Telugu which will be spoken in two large states. The only comparable scenario is that of the Tamil-speaking state of Tamil Nadu and the smaller union territory of Puducherry. After living together for 58 years, this partition now brings along with it emotional, social, economic, political and developmental implications. What are the challenges that these new entities are going to face and how to convert them into opportunities and the various aspects of these issues? To elaborate on them, we have a distinguished panel. I have on my left Dr. Jayaprakash Narayan, who resigned from the Indian Administrative Service to launch a movement for the promotion of constitutional and democratic scheme of things and accountable and rule-based and transparent system of governance in the state. And next to him is Dr. B. Lakshmi from the prestigious Administrative Staff College of India at Hyderabad. She is currently the Dean of the Management Studies and also the Center Director for Human Development. We also have the privilege of the presence of Sri R. Vidyasagar Rao, who is an authority on water resources and the related issues, having retired as the Chief Engineer of Central Water Commission. And we also have the benefit of the presence of Sri R. Rajeshwara Garu, the former Secretary General of FAPC, which is also known as the Federation of Andhra Pradesh Chambers of Commerce and Industry. Dr. Jayaprakash Garu, to begin with, in the run-up to the formation of Telangana, we had seen an emotional stress and strain on the both sides of the divide. It manifested in different ways and all. Now, in the new order of things, how would you expect these emotional energies to play out?
I have always maintained that formation of a new state is neither a catastrophe nor is it a panacea. The problem over the past 5-6 years has been that various interlocutors, various players have portrayed this as either a catastrophe or as a panacea. It is simply a political demand, and in a large union like India, for a large state to be divided into two on the basis of political demands is perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
There is a constitutional scheme for that, and the scheme has come into full play. And therefore, we must view it as merely an administrative, as an economic and a political issue, not as an emotive issue. The moment you make it as a matter of emotion on both sides, you A, mislead the people, and therefore you create grounds for a future tragedy, and B, you will waste a lot of energies of the people on both sides at a time when they should be focused entirely on economic growth and opportunities, because there are enough challenges. The power sector is a great challenge in both states.
Yeah.
Then the corruption is monumental. In the recent elections, about 50% of all the money that has been seized by the Election Commission has come from the states, the two constituent states of Andhra Pradesh, or the present state of Andhra Pradesh. And you can see the link between political corruption and administrative corruption. Everything springing from elections.
Now, whatever may be the provocation, but these energies have to be now channelized towards constructive contribution.
Therefore, now is an opportunity to now go forward, correct the mistakes of the past, because once you become a little smaller as a unit, you can focus more attention on the constituent districts and the administrative boundaries.
Ma'am, as a management expert and also dealing with the human resource development,
yes, sir.
Can you briefly tell us, how do you expect these pent-up energies or anger, how would they manifest themselves? I mean, do we expect that and all, now the people of both the regions, both the states will make an enhanced effort towards rebuilding of these two states?
That should be the focus. Actually, you must see that how people come together and not try to discriminate one against the other state, as what is happening right now. Because there's a lot of insecurity happening between both the states, like who's going to take up the major portion of the districts in both the states, and we have a lot of issues regarding sharing of water resources and all that. And there's also a lot of insecurity among the student community as such. We see that there's a lot of agitation going around in the university sectors, and people are being bullied, students. There's a lot of psychology changes that's happening, of uncertainty about where this is focused. So government actually should see to the focus on how you develop and have a win-win situation between both the states, rather than trying to criticize or trying to build in a mode of discomfort for the people within both the regions, because all the time we live together, and I suppose we should try to also understand the other person's
okay, Mr. Vijayasagar, briefly, I mean, to what extent you are optimistic that we can really harness the hidden energies of the people on the both the sides of the state?
I am very optimistic. See, there are particularly on my side where I deal with water, sufficient water is available, and there are a lot of good water resources, particularly in Telangana region. We have got excellent water resources. Only the problem is, so far we have been denied the opportunity to develop these water resources to the benefit of Telangana people. And anyhow, the new state has formed. Now at least our aspirations should be fulfilled. And as you know, the sustained struggle for 60 years was mainly because of water was not allowed to be developed.
We'll come into detailed issues, water and other things. Anyway, I'm happy.
Similarly, revenue, similarly employment, all these sectors. Now people are looking forward for the new government that they should be provided with excellent opportunities so that their aspirations are fulfilled.
Rajesh Garu, as a person who has been associated with industrial development for long, now the main problem is the aspirations of the youth, job creation, job opportunities and various other opportunities. Briefly, I mean, how do you look forward?
I think the state of Telangana as it is going to come, 6% of the area is developed. 94%, that means Hyderabad and its surrounding areas constitute around 6% of the area. And but the development is almost 80%. So the other districts, 9 districts, are not developed, and the youth is really worried as to how to get the job opportunities. And there must be a distributed development now, rather than a concentrated development, and a distributed development in such a way that the industry pulls out a lot of rural youth which are aspiring to have gainful employment. So that possibly today can come.
Okay, we will take it forward in more details. Now coming to the social aspects, in the Seemandhra region as well as Telangana region, the language Telugu, okay, but the idiom and the cultural features are distinctly separate in Telangana region. Okay, both we could communicate in the same lingo, but there are certain distinct features that could be seen. There was criticism that enough was not done by the governments of the day to really promote emotional integration, intermingling, cultural exchanges, etc. Now that's important. The cultural identity is very important, and that's one of the important issues raised by the people who led this agitation. So in the new scenario, do you think that Telangana culture can be really promoted in the way that they should have done it?
Now, to the extent that the government has a role, it can certainly be done. But we must understand, we are not in the days of monarchies. The government is not the prime motivator behind cultural development. It is the films, it's the literature, it is the media, electronic and print. It is a whole different world. The government's role is limited. But to the extent that the government can promote the local language and culture and give a better understanding of local history, yes, it can be done. But we must not overrate the importance of government in promoting culture, not in 21st century.
It can be a facilitator.
At best, that's all.
Coming from Telangana region, Vijayasagar Garu, what is your take on this promotion of Telangana culture, about which there was some complaint from some quarters?
You see, our Telangana language has been looked down. Telangana accent has been ridiculed. Telangana festivals have not been given proper prominence. All these things are historical. Although whatever they say, government definitely it has a role. You see, so definitely now in the new state we are giving a lot of importance to restoration of this culture or whatever that we had inherited area.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Rao. I can understand the bit of negligence and all, but to say that and all has been ridiculed and all, I really don't find that way, because in the popular medium of cinema and all, the way the Telangana language was being imitated by the lead actors, and the huge crowds that that kind of thing used to draw and all. So was it really ridiculing? I mean, maybe it's a little too harsh word to use. How do you feel?
If you, the real picture was that if you do not like that particular word, that can be softened, but actually the reality is like that.
Okay.
See, after all, the people were given, the people who speak with Telangana accent, they were never treated as and our idioms. You see, after all, we were here, this Telugu and Urdu mixture was there. So even some popular idioms were there. You see, here for example, Telugu word is there. Here, Telangana, Tala Ventukal, Berkamadu, oh, they make a big sort of a this thing.
Again, the point is that
still prevail. It hurts the language, it hurts the sentiment of the people. We were, although 60 years of merger, it never helped us. People did not emotionally integrate themselves, and that is the reason why people wanted to get separate. So, and now that is over. We do not want to,
so good days
remember that's old. But we feel that although we stay in our own state and we are never given the proper treatment, that is one of the main reasons why
we can expect good days ahead, isn't it?
The self-respect, self-rule, and our promotion of our language, our culture, this is one of the most important. Although earlier we fought in 1969 only for jobs and other things. Now water, revenue, employment, self-respect,
thank you.
more things.
Okay, moving on.
To develop ourselves.
Moving on the social front and all, Dr. Jayaprakash Narayan, you have been very closely observing the socio-political development, the way things are being unfolded. It is held in some quarters that, in the larger existing state of Andhra Pradesh, certain social groups and communities, they couldn't get adequate opportunity to express themselves and to get their due. It's also being said by the commentators that the states becoming small and all, there possibly could be some realignment of the social forces, and certain groups which couldn't find their domain now can really stand up and say that I need to be counted.
After all, in a democratic society, power is held by social coalitions. Now, if you change the social composition of a state or a district or a sub-district or a city, obviously the power wielders, their social coalitions also will change. But again, we must not exaggerate the importance of that. If A is replaced by B, but with the same culture as the monarchical, centralized culture, then there's only a change of player. There's no change in the rules of the game. Therefore, the real lesson of the formation of Telangana or the creation of the new state should be about decentralization of power. The key issue is economic and political centralization has taken place. Mr. Rajesh made that point. This very highly concentrated development in one city and one city alone.
Okay.
The rest of Telangana, Coastal Andhra, Rayalaseema, all were neglected irrespective of local resources and talent available. And two, not only economic development, even political management. In Andhra Pradesh, I don't know about other states, even a transfer of an ordinary teacher in a village school has to be decided by the chief minister of the state.
Yeah.
Except during what is called the period of counseling once in 3 years or so. The rest of the time it has to come to the chief minister, and MLAs and MPs and ministers have to do what we call Pyravi in Hyderabad, influence peddling to get a teacher transferred at a village level. Even if both the teachers they are agreeable to mutual transfer, the community wants it, the chief minister has to do it. If this is the culture, whether it create 2 states or 25 states, it makes no difference. We have to decentralize power and make the third tier of government, the local governments, really effective and empowered and resourceful.
Dr. Lakshmi Garu, what is that you can add to this important aspect?
I totally agree with Mr. Vidyasagar Garu. What he says about decentralization of power is very important. We can talk about the state of Kerala, where the decentralization has taken place for the local self-governments, and I can say an example of the state of government of Kerala is doing extremely well, because fortunately from Administrative Staff College of India we are actually restructuring the Kerala State Planning Board. So we have an in-depth of study that why such a small state like Kerala is able to do and why we are not able to adopt to the same conditions as such. So I totally agree to what Mr. Vidyasagar is. That is the local Dr. Jayaprakash garu cheppinde. So I think we have to decentralize, and I totally accept to this.